and let us all do we can to build a better future.
Hillary Clinton just won't go away, folks. I have a sad feeling that the 2024 presidential election cycle will be a rematch between Donald Trump and Hillary Rodham Clinton. Now, again, anything can happen between now and 2024, but the way the Biden-Harris administration has been failing, especially last year when nothing got done, the Democrats who had a majority in the House and Senate, who have an administration that refuses to enact on executive orders, the Democrats are walking into this midterm election cycle into an absolute slaughter. Now, it's not my fault that the Democrats are doing this. I mean, let's face it, the Democrats are doing this on purpose. They know how to win. They know how to lead. It's just right now their donors are telling them, don't do anything. And so Biden has made sure that nothing has fundamentally changed. We haven't got a UBI. We haven't got a Federal Jobs Guarantee Act. We haven't got Medicare for all, student debt forgiveness, affordable education. We're not doing anything about climate change. We're still doing regime change wars. So look, here's the truth. The Democrats are also now looking at potentially someone to replace Biden in the 2024 presidential election cycle. Now, who knows if Biden's actually going to throw his hat in the race? But if so, my goodness, it's another repeat of a senile old man trying to run for the highest office of the land. So why am I saying Hillary Clinton might be returning back? Well, shout out again to Case Study QB, who does a lot of great work, who sits through corporate media so we don't have to. Well, apparently, Hillary Clinton was in New York State at a Democratic convention rallying support. And it's looking like, potentially, she may somewhat use her influence in this midterm election cycle to test the waters for potentially what will happen in 2024. Let's play that video.
Hillary Clinton delivered the keynote address at New York State's Democratic Convention yesterday. She slammed Donald Trump, the Republican Party, and Fox News as she pledged to, quote, work her heart out to get Democrats elected this November.
And we can't get distracted, whether it's by the latest culture war nonsense or some new right-wing lie on Fox or Facebook. By the way, they've been coming after me again lately, in case you might have noticed. It's funny, the more trouble Trump gets into, the wilder the charges and conspiracy theories about me seem to get. So now his accountants have fired him, and investigations draw closer to him, and right on cue, the noise machine gets turned up, doesn't it? Fox leads the charge with accusations against me, counting on their audience to fall for it again. And as an aside, they're getting awfully close to actual malice in their attacks. Republicans will claim they're on the side of parents and family values, but they will do nothing for actual parents or families, nothing on child care, nothing on paid leave, nothing to help working moms and dads get by and get ahead. They will do nothing to invest in our schools or make college more affordable.
Can we pause it right here?
They'll ban books.
I'm going to ask you just to rewind it just a little bit when she's making her second statement. But let's talk about the Republican Party. The Republican Party is just as corrupt as the Democratic Party. Now, I want to separate the politicians from the voters. Democratic voters, Republican voters, independent voters, third-party voters, however which way you want to call it, all agree that Medicare for all is a good idea. Student debt forgiveness, good idea. Investing into our infrastructure, good idea. All the progressive policies that were supported by Bernie Sanders, a lot of people like them. Now, the thing is, let's talk about the Republican Party. They're very pro-corporatist. They're corporatists through and through. They work with big oil, lobby groups, the top 1%, Wall Street, hedge fund managers, you name it. Now, the thing is, on this show, we've gotten some pushback from a lot of people saying, well, how come you're not critical of Republican lawmakers? How come you're not calling out Republican lawmakers? Because at the end of the day, I know what to expect from Ted Cruz and all of his Republican colleagues. They will never fight for Medicare for all. They will never fight for working class citizens. They will never support a UBI or Federal Jobs Guarantee Act. They're not going to do anything about the military industrial complex. They're not going to do anything about the prison industrial complex. They're not going to do anything. What is there to expect from Republican lawmakers? Nothing. I know what to expect. And it's low-hanging fruit at this point. We know what's wrong with the Republican Party. They're corrupt. They're corporatists. But so are the Democrats. The Democratic Party, that is. The politicians. They're just a little bit more sleazy in regards to how they cover up their own scandals. They put on this wonderful face of neoliberalism and pretend to care about the issues. They smile and nod and tell you that we will fight. And there you had Hillary Clinton saying, oh, how Republicans are not going to help out families and working class citizens. But wait a minute. There's Senator Joe Manchin, Democrat from West Virginia, Senator Kristen Sinema, Democrat from Arizona, and they've been against lowering the cost of prescription drugs. They were very key in destroying Biden's Build Back Better. You think if Biden actually gave a damn, he would have fought harder for it. Manchin managed to get Representative Pramila Jayapal, a Democrat, by the way, to make it from $7 trillion down to $1.75 trillion, and basically killing the damn thing. And now what remains of Build Back Better is only going to help out private corporations. So the thing is, when you hear this from Hillary Clinton, she's saying, oh, well, that's why we need to have more Democrats. The Republicans don't care. Well, the Democrats don't care either. They just pretend. They smile and nod. They smile and tell you that it's all going to be okay. You just got to vote more Democrats in. The last time the Democrats had a supermajority was back when Barack Obama was president of the United States and Joe 30330 was his VP. They had a supermajority in the House and Senate, far larger than what they have now. They could have enacted Medicare for all. They could have enacted a lot of great policies. But the Blue Dog Democrats made sure, no, that's not going to happen. And Barack Obama himself, corporatist through and through, never fought for it. He didn't even fight for a public option in the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, which is really Romney Care, which is something that came from the Heritage Foundation, which is a Republican think tank. I think it's very ironic that Hillary Clinton here is now trying to do a little victory lap over Trump when, at the end of the day, I think a lot of people forget this. Trump and the Clintons were good friends for a very, very long time. And there's no way she's going to pretend to play stupid and be like, oh, I never knew Trump was like this. These top 1%ers, they know each other. They're friends with each other. George Carlin was right, a man ahead of his time, and he would probably be laughing at today's world if he was still around. But the sad truth is, it's one big club, and you, the Democratic voter, Republican voter, will never be in it. You see, remember, Hillary Clinton was in the Senate, a Democrat. Trump, for a long time, was a Democratic supporter. You know, I wonder, when Trump made that statement during the first 2016 Republican primary debate, where he said, I give these people money and they do what I say, he was talking about the Republican politicians he donated to. But he also donated to Democratic politicians. And I wonder, when those Democratic lawmakers, whoever they may be, when they got money from Trump, did they do what he said too? You see, it's a sick system. And we got to wake up to the fact we cannot rely on family names and these career politicians to fight for us. And I hope 2024 will be different. I want it to be different. I think we all deserve it. But the only way it's going to happen is through us. We have to build organizations and movements outside of the swamp bubble of the Democratic and Republican parties. We got to move away from the swamp bubble known as Washington, D.C. You cannot expect any help or relief from them because they are stuck in their ivory towers and they are hypocrites through and through. Never forget, Trump and Clinton, the Clintons, the Trumps and Clintons, are good friends with each other. Very good friends. That is a fact. Let's pull up that video again. If we could rewind back a few more seconds into it, please, I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
But they will do nothing for actual parents or families, nothing on child care, nothing on paid leave, nothing to help working moms and dads get by and get ahead. They will do nothing to invest in our schools or make college more affordable. They'll ban books, but do nothing about guns. They'll make it harder for people to vote, but easier for big corporations to bust unions. They'll let polluters trash our environment and let Donald Trump trash our democracy.
Pause it. FaZe, I'm so sorry, but you're going to have to rewind back all that part again, because I wanted to play again for the people, because I want everyone to hear it. Because the way she was talking about the Republicans and Trump, the Democrats already did that. The Democrats could have fought harder for voting rights. The Democrats could have fought harder for working class citizens. They could have fought harder for unions. They could have done so much more when the Democrats had power. But they didn't, and they're still not doing jack. 2021, where were the House progressives and the Senate progressives when it was time to push Biden to the left? They didn't use any of their power at all. They didn't use any of their followers. They didn't stand with the progressives when it came down to force the vote for Medicare for all, the March for Medicare for all, the force the vote for 15, the General Strike Summit. Nothing. They were not there. These corporatist Democrats walked all over the House progressive Democrats. This is a fact. This happened. Biden, through Executive Order, can legalize cannabis nationwide, pardon student debt, and make Medicare for all happen. And the Democrats didn't do it. This whole idea that the Republicans are all bad. No. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party are both wings of the same shitbird. Okay? That's the real truth about the two-party system we live in. And they convinced a lot of voters to go to Team Red or Team Blue. And I think it's at this point, I hope enough people are waking up to the fact that no matter how this midterm will play out, whether the Democrats get the majority, it's split 50-50 between the DNC and RNC, or if the Republicans have a solid control over the House and Senate, nothing's going to fundamentally change. We have to build movements outside of D.C., and we cannot let them get hijacked by Democratic Party operatives or Republican Party operatives, because the same people who donate to the RNC are the same people who donate to the DNC, and the same people who donate to those two parties also control our media. This is a fact, and if it makes people uncomfortable, too bad, so sad, because there are pictures and there's so many articles of Trump and Clinton's hanging out with each other, having a good time, rubbing elbows with all sorts of deplorable people like Weinstein, another guy named Epstein, sick people all around. Let's play that video one last time.
And as an aside, they're getting awfully close to actual malice in their attacks. Republicans will claim they're on the side of parents and family values, but they will do nothing for actual parents or families, nothing on child care, nothing on paid leave, nothing to help working moms and dads get by and get ahead. They will do nothing to invest in our schools or make college more affordable. They'll ban books, but do nothing about guns. They'll make it harder for people to vote, but easier for big corporations to bust unions. They'll let polluters trash our environment and let Donald Trump trash our democracy.
Multiple Democratic operatives said that second soundbite, Clinton's attacks on the Republican Party, were the most effective from anyone in the party in the last year or two, and should be what Democrats run on for this year's midterms. It'll be interesting to see the role that Hillary Clinton plays going forward.
Okay. Just a quick reminder. I think people forget this too, especially the vote blue no matter who crowd. You do realize that during the early days of the 2016 election cycle, when Trump was still considering about throwing his hat in the race, he got a little nudge of support from Bill Clinton. Go ahead and do it. The reason why we got Trump is because of Clintons. Trump is just a symptom of what's wrong with our political system. He's not the architect of it, and he's the last person who should be president of the United States. He's a parasite that's survived in the neoliberal environment that we have. The architects of this neoliberal nightmare we're in is because of Republican presidents like Reagan, Bush Sr., Bush Jr., Democratic presidents like Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, careerist politicians like Hillary Clinton, careerist politicians like Nancy, Chucky Boy Schumer, Turtle Boy Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham Cracker, and all those other bastards. Now, maybe this was a potential test for Hillary to maybe test the waters for 2024. Who knows? But I do know this. Right now, Americans are being evicted from their homes. We're struggling day in, day out just to make ends meet. And it's harder and harder to achieve the American dream because of these career politicians in the Democratic and Republican Party. My hope for this midterm is that people walk away from the two-party system and actually start supporting ballot initiatives and help start building infrastructure for third parties and independent movements that are not connected to Washington, D.C. They will not fight for us. They never will. It's not that they don't like you. The Democratic and Republican parties don't think about you. And the sooner all of us come to terms with that, the better. Because for a long time, we've been giving them our silent, obedient consent. And it's got to stop now.